I am Trevor, and I'm here with you today because some of you were looking for some real-world autofocus samples with the Nikon Z8. So today, I have put together some static samples of inventory, and I've also put some action shot stuff together from this weekend. And you've got to give me some props because it was minus 30 out. We had some difficulties with the camera because it was so cold. I even had to put a little hot pocket underneath just to allow me to see anything through the view screen, because the view screen froze almost instantly. So that's minus 30 Celsius. I'll have to look up what that is in Fahrenheit. Give me a second. So with the wind chill and all of that kind of stuff, for my American viewers, minus 30 Celsius is minus 22 Fahrenheit for you guys down there. And I know most of my viewers are in the States, so I'm gonna start adding those calculations in, so you know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about Celsius or meters and that kind of stuff. So I got you guys. With that, let's take a look at some of the samples. So let's start off with the boring stuff of the inventory, so static camera usage. I do have to say this does a pretty good job of autofocusing. I like how it can pick up my face, the vehicles, it kind of understands what I'm looking for. And there's so many options to autofocus on this, which is insane. I'll show you the settings that I use for the most part, because like I don't do sports, I don't really do action, but there are some modes where I think those would be ideal to use. I go through this fairly quickly. So my settings is focus plus release, put it right in the center for that. I want to make sure that it's in focus before it releases. I want it quicker, then more delayed, and my subject motion is pretty steady. So like I want all my points optionable. I leave this off just because I also just because. Autofocus activation on shutter, just what I'm doing currently. Yes, normally no. Autofocus persistence, not sure what that is really. I like to have all of these options open and available when I'm cycling through. I don't have any restrictions on any of the focus stuff. Wraparound I probably should turn on, but I usually leave it off. These are kind of self-explanatory, so yeah, leave those as is. Change that when I'm using manual focus. This always off. This is annoying to have on. I like to have focus peaking on. I don't know why it was off. I find it keeps defaulting off on me, and focus selection speed on normal because I don't think I need to change it. So hopefully you can see that it's kind of looking for my eye, or it's putting a little square where my eye is. Normally it does that for when it's in this mode where it automatically picks a subject. It recognizes cars, animals, or people. So it's object detection, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. And then even if I move like decently around, it usually stays in focus. And I can speed this up too. I can speed up the acquisition. Yeah, so many options on this camera. What I like here is how it selects a subject and can give you the option to flip between subjects. And notice how smooth it is going from out of focus to in focus. It doesn't just jump and hit really hard into that spot. Now here it's having an issue, but you can just use the touch screen to click on the button to allow it to autofocus on that spot, which is super nice. So here we'll go to close to medium to far, then to close again. You can see how it just slowly brings it back into focus. I'm not always looking for my autofocus to be nice and smooth, in particular when taking photos. So in photo mode, it is much quicker and much snappier, so the autofocus works very different from when in video mode. So here you can see that it just quickly grabs focus on the subject and just smooth, quick, snappy. It doesn't have that slow acquisition like it does in video for that smooth transition. So in photos, you're not going to be missing any shots. So we ventured out into the cold. We geared up, we bundled up, put our stuff on, and headed out to Holiday Mountain. Holiday Mountain was hosting a snowboarders event, and there were prizes and different runs and different age groups, and it was cool to see everyone take on these challenges, and they ended up winning different prizes and stuff, which is super cool. Check them out here. I'll link them here, and we're also putting a video together for that. But the main reason I went out there was to test the autofocus on a 7200mm lens with the Nikon Z8 on action. So you saw what I changed, or you saw my settings from earlier, so I changed some of those to be more suited for action. Issues that arise with it being as cold as it was, I couldn't get reliable feedback. I couldn't get a reliable view of what I was looking at. So I just purely trusted that the camera was going to grab the focus of the subject, because the screen, the LCD screen on the back, just couldn't keep up. It was ghosting all over the place and it was frozen. So the footage I'm going to show you, most of it's in focus. So I could have made some changes to the settings for its acquisition, what subjects I could pick, but as it is, it worked really well. So I shot all of this on Nikon N RAW, on the log style footage, so it's very flat captured, and I'll throw LUT on it, I'll throw how it is, and all in 60 FPS at 4K. So let's take a look at some of that footage, because it was good. I find one of the most challenging things for a camera to focus on is a subject moving from far away to close. So if you can see here, it took me a bit even just to acquire the subject, to get him into the center of frame. Once I was able to get the subject in frame, it grabs focus and pulls it in pretty close, and it'll track the individual all the way up over the jump, where it loses him for a little bit as he goes out of frame. But as I refocus on him or re-grab him in frame, it pulls the focus in nice and smoothly for this really nice effect. It's not jarring. So even though it is out of focus for portions of this clip, it's appealing still. Being able to put the camera to this autofocus test in some extreme conditions showed me that this camera is really capable with its autofocus. There are some points where I should have overridden it with the manual focus, but unfortunately the LCD screen was frozen because of the temperatures, so I couldn't actually see that it was out of focus. I barely could see if my subject was in frame because of all the ghosting. So that might be an issue. It might be an issue. We'll look at it. But I mean, I've never had a camera work with an LCD screen at -30. They've all frozen, even the one that's in the viewfinder has always frozen as well. So ignoring that, looking at that as another thing, another video at some point, the autofocus has been fantastic, and there's some options that I'm going to try to change at the next event. So February 2nd is another one of the snowboard competitions hosted by the board shop, which hosted this one as well. I'm gonna connect with them, and we're gonna head out, create another video for them, and I'm gonna test out my teleconverter with the 7200, and I think we're gonna get some really good results. If you do have an opinion on how to keep the camera warm, at least the LCD warm enough that I can view it, and fingers crossed that it's only -10, because at -10 the screen has worked fine. It's just in the -20, -30 where the screen stops working and I can't see what I'm doing. So I have all this amazing footage, and this camera captured all of it. I just had to trust it because I couldn't see it. So the autofocus, fantastic. I think it is a leader in the field. I know that Canon was doing really well before, and Sony was probably the best. Now this is definitely a competitor or on par, and I am very happy with the autofocus and how it performed. So with that, I am Trevor. Thank you so much for watching. Check with the guys below that helped put this video together, who performed in it, and yeah, with that, I'm out.